Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. I got my cousin with me tonight. What you got going on?
You know, it's your boy Ian, Potty Pooper, the RB Whisperer in the house with my little cousin, Widow's Peak. Can't nobody else call him that, though. What's good, cuz? What we doing tonight?
Oh, we're just gonna talk about some football tonight, man. We got all these games to get to, but before we get started, follow us on Twitter at Crew Matt Ham, at Craftman Pack Fan.
It's actually X.
Oh yeah, I guess it is X, but we're gonna call it Twitter because that's just what it is. It's not X, it's Twitter. But we're gonna get into it tonight, man. I got Ian that's actually in the building.
In the house, man, using the same mic, drinking the same drinks, sipping out of the same babas.
We got one mic, just like Nas said. All I need is one mic, one beat. So we're gonna hit it tonight. We're drinking a Coors Light, just rhyming, talking about football. So what you want to get into, man? You want to talk about these games?
Man, I want to go over the games, man, and talk about the skill players, who we think is in, who we think is out. Maybe a little buy now, sell low, buy, or sell high, buy low stuff, man. We're just going to get into it, and we're just going to talk about it because we're the most knowledgeable dudes on the net. So
I don't know about that.
Got to be confident, cousin.
I don't know about that. We don't like to call ourselves experts around here because we are not.
Say that. I didn't say we're not.
We are definitely not experts.
So we're knowledgeable.
We are knowledgeable, but just stick with us tonight. We're going to get into it. The longer we go on, the more we're going to be drinking, the more fun we're going to be having. So just stick with us. Matt ain't with us tonight. Unfortunately, he got to work like some bum. We tried to get Chris on, Phil, but I don't know where them fools are at tonight. So me and Ian are going to chop it up, and we're going to talk about these games. But before we get started with these games, tell me what you thought about DJ Moore taking your ass to school last week, and how does it feel to know that you've already lost on Thursday already this week?
Thursday is a liar, and you know this, man, but I was so upset, dude. Actually, the saving grace, man, I thought he was going to end up with 60, 70 points. He had 30 points before halftime, and it just really put a knife in my back already. I'm down 50. Actually, I'm down 57 points because Scary Terry only got 7. Thank God.
Yeah, I had him.
But yeah, dude, it's tough, man. But I got a pretty good team, and hopefully I started the right people. And I don't know why Washington didn't run the ball because I had Brian Robinson. Could have gave me a touchdown, dude.
Well, they were losing like 17-0, like right away. So,
anyways, yeah, sad about DJ Moore, but I got him in another league, and so it's like that love-hate relationship. Go through it just about every week. But anyways, let's get into it, man. Who we got first? What's up on the schedule?
Well, I ain't done talking about Chicago yet. What about
let's do it.
What about Justin Fields? And he's had 2 really big bounce back games the last couple weeks. He's putting up over 30 fantasy points. Like, is Justin Fields, is he going to be that guy, or is he the guy you drafted? Are you just going to keep rolling him out there? Or because I made the mistake of benching him this week, and it really, I started him in one league, but the one league that I benched him in, you get negative points for sacks, like a whole negative point for a sack.
Kind of lame.
And he's been taking like hella sacks, so I just been starting Brock Purdy in that league. But I mean, looking at it right now, not just a rushing, he still ain't running the ball like he did last year, but 25 rushing yards in week 4, 57 in week 5. So it ain't what he's been doing, but I mean, there's 4. The thing that I was looking at that really blew my mind was 15 completions and 4 touchdowns.
Right.
That's like what is that? About a 30-40% touchdown rate.
Yeah. That's
League average is like 6-7% touchdown rate.
Yeah, man. That game because of Justin Fields, man, he honestly looked bad. You know, the only person that was able to catch the ball was DJ Moore. I mean,
That was it.
he threw it to Mooney a few times, you know, and Cole Kmet got a few grabs, but his accuracy was off. You know, he definitely looks way, way better, and he's looking good. And I panicked in week 4 and benched him in my dynasty league for Purdy, and that was a mistake. But it won't happen again. I'm playing everybody against Denver, but his rushing is not as good as it was last year. That's for sure.
You
But
just started though, right?
you got to start him. I feel like at this point, especially after Thursday night, you got to start him right now, man. I mean,
Who's he got after? Who he got after Washington?
he's got a pretty easy schedule. He's got Minnesota coming up next week, Las Vegas. He's got the Chargers, New Orleans, and then week 10, Carolina's coming to the house.
That's easy.
Yeah, and then Detroit and Minnesota. So it's not a terrible schedule. I think he'll be all right. I mean, they really need to get some blockers in there. They got a lot of things figured out, and just like last week with the Denver game, man, they just a couple plays. It was just a couple plays, and then last night they figured out a way to bring it down, and I think they're right there. But I don't think you should panic on Justin Fields. What do you think about Khalil Herbert, man? What's going on with him?
I don't know. I seen that he. I don't know if it's an ankle sprain. He said he was all right. He actually came back into the game for like a play after that ankle, and it just didn't work out. So they sat him the rest of the time. But he could be back. I think he could be back next week, hopefully. But he was looking good. He had like 10 carries for over 70 yards, and the week before he had 20 fantasy points. So he's been really a good flex play, and I started him, and it was looking really good until he didn't play after halftime. So, I mean, I'm liking Khalil Herbert right now as long as this offense can keep going. But what we were talking about with DJ Moore had 8 receptions, Cole Kmet had 5, that's 13, and Justin Fields had 15 completions. So it was 2 guys that he was throwing the ball to. And you're just not going to see 4 touchdowns from a 15 completion type game. I don't know what the hell Washington was doing. I thought they were a better defense than that, but damn.
You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you why 15 completions turned into 40-something points?
It's because DJ Moore's yards per catch is like 28 yards per catch?
28 and 3/4, dude. But he's had really elite yards per catch.
He's been great all year. He's been sneakily really good all year long.
Yeah, I mean, he's been totally solid. I mean, anytime you get double digits, you know, most people probably don't have him as their wide receiver 1, but if you do, I mean, he still really hasn't upset you. I mean, that 50-point game is really gonna what's the word?
Boost his stats?
Yeah, it's gonna not boost, but it's gonna
make his fantasy finishes look a lot better than they are.
Yeah, right. So, but at the same time, he still did it. You know what I mean? And it's still part of his stats, and it's needs to be there. But
not anybody's gonna put up a 50-point game.
Nobody. I don't know very many people who have put up 50-point games. Man, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that game was pretty upsetting. I thought I was starting off good. I had Justin Fields. He was going off. And I got a bet with Noah this week. We're doing the jersey bet. He already told me he wants Derwin James if he wins.
Who you want?
I ain't decided yet. I ain't decided because I got to win first. I ain't counting my chickens like Noah has.
Right.
Fantasy's weird, dude. I just want to talk to you about this right quick. Do you ever, like when you're winning, do you like just sit around and you don't want nobody to tell you, you know, great job on the victory and shit? When you got like a 90% chance when you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up. Like,
yes, because there have been many times Monday night has come around and, you know, or even went to sleep on Sunday and woke up mad, and Monday night comes in and you're winning by 20 and you're like, I got this. And people are like, good job this week. And It wasn't my fault. It was because they said good job, but
That's exactly how it is. Because people be calling me. I was like, I don't know why you called me. Because I'm gonna be like, man, you got it this week. You got it. No way you lose.
yeah.
And then you're like, shut the hell up.
But I definitely feel like that in my work league, man, because I started Fields and Moore. So I got 81 points on Thursday night from 2 players, and I feel pretty comfortable about that. But
Those are the ones you lose, though.
those are the ones you lose, man, when you're up on Thursdays.
Because it ain't much for a player on Sunday to put up 35 going against you, or Raheem Mostert or Devon A-Chain put up another 50 or whatever. But we're gonna we're gonna move on to the next couple games. But let's talk about some news before we get going. During that game, Khalil Herbert got hurt. Like I said, I think he might be back next week. We'll see. Rashawn Johnson had a concussion, so we'll see how he does and progresses through that protocol. If you want to pick up Blasting Game like you did,
Big blast, baby.
I don't think that's going to work out.
Fullback.
I feel like one of these guys are going to play, and I still have an opinion on concussions. If you're a big name, like a quarterback, Joe Burrow, Tua, Patrick Mahomes, if you get a concussion, you probably won't play the next week. But if you're a dude that nobody's ever heard of, it just seems like they progressed through that protocol pretty fucking quick.
Well, I wouldn't know because I don't know them.
I mean, it just seems like that to me where players that, like Luke Musgrave got hurt, he had a concussion, and like it's Tuesday practice the next week, and they're like, oh, he's out there. He's out there practicing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it comes into the investment they have. You know what I mean? Like, you got 5 years of almost $500,000 contract on somebody. You don't want to. There's no point in putting them in there when they are hurt and could possibly, especially after Tua, the stuff he went through last year, and I hate when players get hurt at all. One, it messes up fantasy stuff. Two, it's just nobody likes to see that. And three, it just really takes the wind out of the team sales, and it just totally drops the momentum of a game, and it just makes everything weird, man. And so I hope everybody is cool, but when it comes to concussions, man, and when it comes to these injuries, I think the NFL is on the right track with that, because there's a lot of players, that played in the 80s and 70s that, they got out of the league and, they weren't able to function well, or they were angry and because they took too many headshots, dude. So I think what they're doing with the little mushroom caps and stuff and all that is, they're doing enough. No, I don't think it's sissy. I think it's what you got to do to protect that investment.
I mean, when you listen to podcasts with NFL players, some of them are for it, some of them think they look like idiots out there. But we're going into week 5, so I got to mention the players coming off of IR. But there's really only 2 that you need to focus on the offensive side of the ball, and that's Jonathan Taylor. And we're still not 100% sure he's going to be taking snaps with the Colts, but it's starting to look like he will.
Yeah, he'll probably take some snaps this week, but I wouldn't start him.
But he's going with the Colts, right? Like he's playing with the Colts.
Oh yeah. I was watching NFL Network yesterday, and he came on, and he was pretty adamant. He was like,
he was backtracking.
He was like, I'm still here, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and Cooper Kupp's coming back. The last thing I saw that he was getting ready for week 5. Would you start Cooper Kupp on his first week back?
Nope.
You're not starting either one of them.
I don't like starting players their first week back from an injury. If they end up blowing up and having a big game, okay, but there's been multiple times that, for instance, Aaron Jones, they came out and I'll read the exact
5 carries for 18 yards.
I'll read the exact statement that they put. It says, hold on. Oh, I don't have it on here. It doesn't go that far back. But they were saying, he's good. He's not going to be on a snap count. And coaches say that all the time. And I don't like starting players when they come back from injury. They've been out for a while.
Especially like hamstrings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But JT, like we said, he's most likely coming back. There's a couple players. I mean, would you put him
Jeff
in?
Wilson. What about Jeff Wilson? Is he coming back this week?
I
No.
haven't seen anything about him. This is the injury reserve tracker that I'm on right here, and I don't see a lot of stuff of people coming back, except for
Oh, here we go. I got a little update. This was October 4th. It says Wilson won't have his practice window opened Wednesday.
so he's not coming back this week.
He's not coming back this week.
That's more of a not let's start Jeff Wilson. It's more of maybe we pump the brakes a little bit on A-Chain. But, I mean, at this point, you're starting A-Chain. It doesn't even matter.
You got to start A-Chain, dude. I think if anything, you pump the brakes. Mostert. You know,
You're still starting Mostert, too.
you're still starting Mostert for sure, but I'd rather have A-Chain there, and it's only because of Mostert's injury history, man. Like, it's just a matter of time, dude.
Let's talk a little about A-Chain while we're here before we get onto these games. And I promise we're going to get onto these fucking games here in a minute. But A-Chain, are you trying in redraft? Are you in Dynasty? You're obviously keeping them, right?
Yeah.
So in redraft, are you trying to sell A-Chain off them two performances? Mainly like going after somebody like I don't know, like Josh Jacobs, or I mean, would you try to sell him for somebody like that?
I mean, you could. It
Not
really
gonna
depends
happen,
on
probably,
really
right?
depends on your lineup. Well, I think when it comes to committees like that, I'd rather have the younger guy. You know what I mean? I feel like A-Chain by the end of the year is going to end up being the lead back here, just like Roshan Johnson in Chicago.
Don't do that.
What?
Khalil Herbert's just fine, dude.
I know he is, but what I'm saying is I feel like through the end of the year, towards the end of the year, they're going to get more like Miller and Charbonnet. You know, if I had a choice between Mostert and A-Chain, I would hold on to A-Chain.
All right, so you would trade Raheem Mostert straight up for A-Chain.
I feel like Raheem Mostert's a good sell high candidate right now.
All right, well, here's some of the running backs. Would you rather have Devon A-Chain or Alvin Kamara?
Kamara.
James Cook.
That's hard. Probably A-Chain. I think we'll take A-Chain on that.
Over James Cook?
It's tough. James Cook is the for sure lead back, so that's probably your better bet in redraft for sure.
Well, here's a good one for the rest of the year. A-Chain or Brees Hall?
Brees, baby.
His the rest of the season schedule looks pretty good. And you want to check that out?
Who's that? A-Chain or Brees?
Brees. I remember looking at it, and it looks like after the bye week, and we did get something from Robert Saleh saying that Brees Hall is going to be. He's not on a snap count anymore. He's played his last game. He played 44% of the snaps, but the first 4 games were against Buffalo, Dallas, New England, and Kansas City. That's a gauntlet.
All great defenses.
Yeah, just a gauntlet. So they got Denver next week, which he should have a good week. His rushing line on Sleeper is at 60.5, which is not bad. 60.5 is pretty high.
Very doable.
And then he got Philly, which is tough. And
I mean, he got 56 yards on 6 carries last week.
Yeah.
So 60.
9 yards a carry last week against Kansas City.
Insano.
Damn, dude.
I mean, they got Philly after that.
Give my man the ball.
I know, dude. Philly after that, and then the bye week. And then it's the daggum, you're running through the meadow after that. Giants, Chargers, Vegas, Buffalo again, and Miami.
Then Atlanta, Houston.
Houston.
A lot better than it looked at the start of the year.
Yeah, and I think Brees is probably a buy low. You could probably get him off some people that ain't very clever.
Well, what about Kyron Williams? Would you trade? Would you rather have Devon A-Chain or Kyron?
Kyron's balling out right now, man, and he looks really good. And I like the Ram running backs. They tend to run the ball, and they usually tend to do pretty good.
These touchdowns just can't sustain for Devon A-Chain. I mean, he had like 4 in 1 week and then 2 last week.
Yeah.
He's 190 pounds. But all right, we said we were gonna do it. We're finally gonna do it.
All right.
Let's talk about these games. We might hit y'all with a gambling episode after this, or we might just talk about it a little bit now. But we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 5.5 right here. Not a lot of respect to the Jaguars, which they really shouldn't get no respect.
Right.
This game's in London, played at 9:30 a.m. on the East Coast. So, what do you think about this game? Before we talk about all the players, how do you think this game is going to go? Is it going to be high scoring, low scoring? Who's going to win this game? What you got?
I think, well, when it comes to the NFL, a lot of people look at the stats and the analytics, and what I usually look more into to kind of get an edge is the personal life and what's going on this week. Just like, for instance, somebody said something about Dak Prescott this week, and it pissed him off. And because they were asking him about they're going to play the 49ers, and they were asking him how he felt that last game of last year, and he was like, you could just see his demeanor just changed, and he's like, thank you for that. I'm going into this week pissed off. And so when it comes to this Jaguars-Bills game, the Jaguars are staying in London. They played London last year, so they're not sleeping in their bed. They're up there practicing on a weird field, but they've been there lots of times, and
They got no jet lag neither.
They don't have the jet lag, and the Bills are coming in definitely favored. I'll take the Bills in this one, but I think it's still going to be a pretty close game, man. I don't think you can count Jacksonville out. They're definitely a wild card team at this point, and they could go either way.
Yeah, I like the Bills in this one. I've pretty much just been betting with the Bills ever since week 1 when they lost to the Jets. They've just been absolutely demolishing people. They beat the hell out of Miami last week, which is everybody's darling of a team.
Yep.
Everybody loves Miami.
Yeah.
But Jaguars haven't looked good. Trust me, I got Trevor Lawrence, and he's not been doing shit for my team. The over-under in this game is a nice 48.5, which is pretty high. So there's going to be a lot of offensive weapons. But, all right, so we're going to run through the guys that you're automatically starting. ETN's in your lineup. Christian Kirk probably in your lineup.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley definitely. Zay Jones, he's questionable to play in this game if he plays. What kind of flex option are you looking for with Zay Jones? Is he a desperation play coming off the injury, or is he more like a if he plays, you're playing him with a high over/under game?
Definitely a desperation play in my mind right now. I think Christian Kirk is still the number 2 there, if not higher, but Calvin Ridley's a beast, and I think Zay Jones is going to make an impact, but I think at desperation time, you'll be safe to start him. He'll probably get you 8-9 points, and
Zay Jones or Rashid Rice or any of the Kansas City receivers. You starting Sky Moore or any of them guys, or you starting Zay Jones this week? If you had to.
When it comes to them Kansas City receivers, dude, it's a little sketchy, dude. But I'd probably pick Sky Moore over Jones. Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I'll give Sky Moore another week. Buffalo's defense is pretty tough. Tyreek didn't have a good day. Jalen Waddle didn't have a good day last week. They kind of shut him down, but I did see that. What's Buffalo's main cornerback? Tre'Davious White. He tore his ACL.
Did he?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, tore his ACL last week, so they're out their main cornerback.
But they're getting Vaughn back, aren't they?
They are getting Vaughn back.
But that might be later. I don't know if that's this week.
Yeah, I did see he was going to come off injured reserve, but like we were talking about with the running backs, they're probably going to ease him in.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does play in London, that's a tough game to come off of IR, go to London,
they're not going to play him in London.
Like they might put him in on some third downs, like get some pass rush.
They want him for the end of the year. They want him for the playoff push.
Yeah. So I mean, the Jaguars' weapons I would say it looks all right. But for the Bills side, Diggs great. Got him in a draft. Prize picks for me. I think he's like 80 yards. I took the over on that. But you got Diggs, you got Gabe Davis, and you got the two tight ends. You got Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. And I mean, James Cook's in your lineups.
Yeah, I think the only pass catcher you could really start is Stephon Diggs.
I think you can start Gabe, right?
Gabe Davis, he's good. You can start him, and he had a pretty good week last week, I feel like.
I mean, he's had a touchdown the previous 2 weeks, but he's still, even with the 2 touchdowns, he's only scored 9 points and 13 points. So he had 1 reception, and last week he had 3 receptions. So,
and the touchdowns really have been saving his weeks, So he's kind of a touchdown dependent play, but a lot of, if you have him, you're probably going to play him. But I feel like Stephon Diggs,
him or Tank Dell,
Gabe Davis or Tank Dell
against Atlanta.
Well, I'd probably start. Because they're probably going to be ahead against Atlanta, so they might not throw as much. Houston, I mean,
sneak peek.
It's tough, but I'd probably start Gabe over Tank because Nico Collins is really good, and that's somebody I really want in Dynasty. And I was trying to trade Pacheco for him before Thursday night, or what they play Sunday night, Monday night.
Which one?
The Kansas City game.
They all played on a Sunday night.
Yeah, that was Sunday night. And so Sunday I was trying to trade for Nico Collins. That was Brandon Oak. I was trying to get anyway.
Oh yeah.
But I think Nico Collins is good and
yeah, I saw you trying to trade Jahmyr Gibbs for Brandon Ayuk.
Dude, thought about it, man.
I know Noah messaged me about it. He was like,
I don't think it's a terrible
It's a fair trade. It's a fair trade. I told him that. I was just saying what do you really want? I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is a buy low candidate right now, but also Montgomery's a beast. And Montgomery's going to keep – he signed a 3-year deal with Detroit. He's not going anywhere. So –
Unless he starts playing.
We want Jahmyr Gibbs to be Devon Achane is what we want. Like, Devon Achane ended up being what we wanted out of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to end up being more of a James Cook. Like, non-existent for a year or two, and now he's the man. I think that's kind of what Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe a little faster than that. But like you said, I mean, they got a 3-year deal on DeMont, and Monty looks great, dude. I really want some Monty. But
he doesn't look like he's the best runner of all time, but he just does everything. He gets the yards out of there. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's a good pass protector.
And he breaks tackles.
And that's the thing that sucks about Gibbs is like you want him in on third downs to catch a lot of passes, but this is not the same Detroit team as they used to be with DeAndre Swift where they were down by 20 going into the fourth quarter. This is a team that is winning by 20 points going into the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
So Montgomery seems like he's the play right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to sell Gibbs, I wouldn't sell him for cheap. Like, I mean, Brandon Ayuk's a good target, like you said, in Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, you don't have to do it. I mean, Gibbs could still break out.
And the only reason I was really wanting to sell Gibbs is, I mean, my running back room is pretty stout, and my receivers are kind of slacking. I mean, I'm all right, but I got Jacobs, Pacheco, Breece Hall, Damian Pierce. So, I was thinking get off one of those and then get on an Ayuk, you know what I mean? And I'd almost sell any of those for him. And it might be a mistake, getting rid of Gibbs for Ayuk, but in it all, when it comes to trades and stuff, it really depends on your lineup. You know what I mean? And I think be a good move for me at this point, but I do have faith in Jahmyr Gibbs, and I ain't giving up on him. I think he's still going to be great. On a great team that's up and coming, and I can't believe they beat us, but I kind of had a feeling they
Beat
would.
the shit out of us. We got the Raiders this week though, but shit, we got on Jahmyr Gibbs. We were on the Jaguars and Bills. It don't matter. We just fucking talk football around here.
That's right, baby. So let's go to the next one. What we got?
All right, we got the lowly Giants giving up 10 sacks to the Seattle Seahawks on Monday night, and they are not getting no respect, which they shouldn't, because they're terrible.
You got to show me something.
But they are 12.5-point underdogs going into this game against the Dolphins. The Dolphins are at home. Seems like a good time to fire up all the Dolphins, all your Dolphins players. I'm just waiting on Jalen Waddle, man. That's the only one that all these running backs have been eating. Tyreek's been going off. Where the fuck's Jalen Waddle been? And is it gonna improve?
So, what is this? Waddle's second year?
This is his third year.
His third year. So you can't blame it on the sophomore slump. I don't know what's going on with Waddle, and they just signed Claypool.
Yeah, that don't matter to me. I don't care at all about Chase Claypool. Not even in the
Well, what it
slightest.
says to me is that they feel like they need more.
I just
help
think that-
at
I just think
receiver.
they got a deal. For
You think?
Claypool.
Okay.
I mean, it was just like I would say it's just like a guy that was on free agency that they just picked up because they seen him out there. But
Well, I mean, if you drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the second round, you're really upset right now. I think, or not Jahmyr Gibbs, sorry, Jalen Waddle. I think he'll be all right, and he'll have, some better games to come. But it's really tough. I mean, most people probably drafted him as their wide receiver one, and he's put up all right numbers, but
the only 4 receptions, 3 games in a row. Still great yards per catch. He's always been he led the league in yards per catch last year, but
no touchdowns.
no touchdowns.
And I think he'll be all right. I don't think you should panic on Jalen Waddle right now. But Tyreek's the man. And start Waddle if you got him. Start Tyreek. Start all your Dolphins. Giants. I mean, Saquon is even iffy. Who else do they have? Waller.
Yeah,
I don't like Waller.
Their whole offense, their whole receiving core. I know me and Noah did a prize picks on Monday night, and it was the Giants and the Seahawks. And I was telling him the Giants are the toughest team to pick from because you don't know what receiver is going to catch anything, if any of them.
Yeah.
Which, as of right now, this is the most disappointing team in the NFL, in my opinion. This is a team that's supposed to be good.
Mm-hmm.
That had I don't know. I know they made the playoffs last year. They beat the Vikings in the first round. They made it to the NFC divisional game. And this is a team who can barely sneak by the Arizona Cardinals, having to pull off like a 20-point upset and after halftime. So, are the Giants? I just feel like the Giants are just lost right now. I mean, I don't think they're underperforming. I think they're just a bad team at this point. I think the Dolphins are going to put it on their ass. Not as bad as they did Denver now. Not 70 points. But as the line goes at 12.5, I think I would personally stay away from this game. 12.5 is a lot to give the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just fire up everybody with the Dolphins right now. I mean, you could even do worse than like Braxton Berrios in your flex spot in this game. I mean, he could have a good day if you're really desperate or like DFS lineups. I'm saying he's all right. And like you said, for the Giants side, I guess my main question is if I guess Waller's probably in your lineup because he's a tight end and tight ends suck.
Yeah.
But would you start Matt Breida if Saquon ends up being out?
I have Matt Breida, and I'm tempted to start him, but I don't think so. I mean, if you got people on bye week like Ken Walker or whatever, Breida is definitely a good plug and play. But it's hard to say from that Giants team, dude. And I was watching Good Morning Football the other day, and Kyle Brandt brought up a point about the Coach of the Year curse is pretty much what he called it, and it's it's something, you know,
Dead on the money, huh?
dead on the money. I mean, Daboll, you know, Coach of the Year last year, doing bad. Who won it year before last was
Probably the Titans guy.
yeah, Vrabel.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel.
Yep. And then and I don't know. I mean, because you get all the hype and you get in this new team and you get balling, and then you come back that next year and everybody's got the target on you, you know, and it's hard to do it without.
It's hard to do without an offensive line.
And you know, I preach that, dude. O-line, pay them big boys in the front. And every team that sucks is because they have a crappy line.
Pretty much. I mean, our rookie quarterback.
You put Andrew Whitworth and Joe Thomas on the Panthers, and I guarantee they're going to the playoffs.
I mean, it is tough. We got that offensive line that's just absolutely terrible. I mean, Evan Neal, I seen something about him. I guess they were booing him at the game, and he said something about, what are y'all doing, like flipping burgers or whatnot. But I mean, the Giants are just in a tough place right now. They look terrible. But I'm with Ian with everything you said, except for the line on this game. I think I'm gonna stay away from this one. But we're gonna talk about gambling here on the next one. But the Giants gonna get their ass kicked by the Dolphins. Got a revenge game. The Dolphins just got beat by Buffalo. They're about to put it on these boys, and all the guys for the Dolphins are gonna go off. I think. Is this a Tyreek Hill game? Is this like a 30-point game for him in fantasy?
The Giants don't have anybody to stop Tyreek, even if they double him up. I mean,
I think it's a game for Jalen Waddle. I think this is his comeback.
You're gonna okay.
Yep.
And that's a good point. You know, just like I said, it's
a touchdown guarantee.
Touchdown guarantee.
Yeah, they do it. They do it on the footballers. I'm not gonna make this shit up like it's my own, but
we got it recorded.
Touchdown guarantee for Jalen Waddle this week, and he's gonna have over 80 yards receiving. He's not gonna put up a DJ Moore type week, but
nobody's gonna put up a DJ. Okay,
but it's gonna be a good week for Jalen Waddle. It's gonna be a good week for Tyreek. A good reek for Reek.
Ricky Reek.
It's going to be a good one. So, fire up the Dolphins. Saquon, you're playing them. Darren Waller, you're playing them. Everybody else, you're benching them. And
up next, we have the Panthers versus the Lions. This is
Panthers are the only team that is still without a win after the Bears won last night.
Denver got, yeah.
So Carolina's the only team that ain't got a win yet. So what do you think about this game? How do you think it's going to go?
I think the Lions are going to stump a mud hole in them, dude.
Is it a David Montgomery game?
I think yeah. I mean, I think they're going to be playing from ahead. They're going to run David Montgomery, and Jahmyr Gibbs is probably they might end up putting in second string. No, I mean, I don't know, but that Detroit Lion team looks really good, dude. They got a good defense, and Hayden Hutchinson is all over the field. He might get Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know what his stats are, but when you watch when you watch that boy play, I mean, nobody can hang with him, man. I want to see him go up against some really elite tackles, but yeah, I think they're just going to stump a mud hole. And I mean, I wouldn't start Bryce. I wouldn't start Thielen. I wouldn't even.
You got to start Thielen.
You got to start Thielen at this point. If you got Thielen, start him. He could get a touchdown.
What about Sanders? I mean, Detroit's. Yeah, I don't like Sanders either.
I don't like Sanders.
But man, let's go down the list then with Sanders, because Detroit's rush defense is elite. They are pretty damn good. Say Sanders is your flex spot. Would you start Tyler Algier versus Houston?
Over Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
Probably not. What's Algier?
I would start Algier just because of the matchup.
What's his volume been?
I mean, he's been ass after the first week.
How many snaps, carries is he getting?
I mean, I don't know. Me and you were sitting together. We both ain't got the sleeper pulled up. You asked me damn questions like I just got this shit on fucking lock. But Tyler Algier, okay. First week, 15 carries. Second week, 16. The last 2 weeks, 7 and 7. But these are Detroit and Jacksonville were games that they were losing.
Yeah. So, I mean.
So he's probably going to be around that, 10 to 15 carry mark. So
I might not start Algier over him, but just the fact that
Sanders ain't going to do shit.
Just the fact that I debated that means you should probably not start Sanders. I'd start Jalen Warren over Sanders.
If Sanders don't score a touchdown, I'm telling everybody out there, you're looking at like 4 points.
Yeah.
If he scores a touchdown, you're looking at about 10.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bad week for Sanders. This motherfucker's gonna get 40 this week, ain't he?
No. Bench your Panthers.
Yeah, bench your Panthers. Detroit. God, I never thought I'd say this. Detroit Lions defense is stout. But let's just talk about the game, like we said with Detroit. The game plan is probably going to be they're going to be up, blah, blah, blah. If Amon-Ra plays, you're playing them. Actually, one of my prize picks is the under for Jared Goff passing yards at like 250 because I think they're going to be running the ball a lot.
I see it, yeah.
So, what do you think about, your Josh Reynolds? You got to roll with Laporta still.
Got to roll Laporta in there. And I don't know if I'm going to be upset that I started Laporta over Kmet in my Dynasty League because Cole Kmet had another really good game. He had 5 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown, which is, he's got like 17, 18 points. And I think Laporta, dude, when I see him get the ball in his hands, and I hate comparing people to other people, but that's what we do. That's the only thing we know. He really is got Travis Kelce-esque type moves and abilities. And I really think Laporta is a great player, and he's going to be someone that we're going to be talking about a lot this year. So you start Laporta, and
you got to start Laporta.
Start all your lines. Like you said, Jared Goff.
I mean, Josh Reynolds.
Well, yeah, that's a good.
I really think you got to start Jahmyr Gibbs. I guess
I'm actually benching him this week.
Yeah, he's
in my Dynasty League.
Jahmyr Gibbs is tough. He's a tough discussion.
He's still getting you 8 or 9 points a week, which is good for your RB2, RB3.
He's not what you expected, and I don't think it's going to be this week where you're seeing a big Jahmyr Gibbs game because, unfortunately, the Lions are really damn good, and Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't have to do a whole lot. So,
yeah, but like we were talking about with A-Chain, I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of in that same boat. I know he hasn't scored as much as A-Chain, but I feel like throughout the
potential is there.
Yeah, I feel like throughout the year they're going to get more playing time, and volume is key when it comes to fantasy football.
They're one of them bears, boy.
You want a bear, Bubba?
Yeah,
I can do that.
I know what you mean, but the volume hasn't been there. You're gonna figure out that cooler eventually.
Well, maybe if you didn't have a spit lock on it.
We do what we do, but. Looks like this game is going to be all Detroit. They're favored by 9.5. They're playing at home. Jared Goff probably going to throw a couple touchdowns. I'm not expecting a whole bunch of yards. It's probably not the best matchup for Goff, but I could be wrong. It's a good matchup, but it could also be bad if that makes any sense, just based on...
Could be. It's NFL, man.
How many carries did David Montgomery get last week before we go on to the next one? I think he had like 31 carries or some shit. It was absolutely...
David Montgomery, last week, David Montgomery had 32 carries. Whew. Finished as the RB2.
Coming off an injury, too.
Yeah.
All right.
He's solid.
We on to the next game. This one's going to be a little tougher with who to bench and who to play. Over-under of 38, which is fucking gross. 38 is pretty ass. You got the Ravens at the Steelers. The Ravens are favored by 4.5 points. Kenny Pickett looks like he's going to play after that injury last week.
Mm-hmm.
And just tell me what you think about your assets in this game. So let's go on the Ravens side right quick. You got Lamar Jackson, you're probably playing him. of course.
You definitely play Lamar.
Mark Andrews, you're playing him. What about the receivers from the Baltimore side? You know, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, Rashad Bateman is injured again, as always. He shouldn't be in your lineups at any time, any point. It doesn't matter. Rashad Bateman just can't stay healthy. He is like the Kadarius Toney of the Baltimore Ravens. So, and the running backs, you got Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. I mean, me personally, I'm starting Zay Flowers, and that's it. I'm not starting Gus Edwards, even though Pittsburgh's rush defense is really bad. But
Gus really hasn't showed much, and Justice Hill could get more plays, could get more snaps. I mean, it's when it comes to that running back field right now, I'm not messing with it. I got Justice Hill on the bench, kind of wait and see. Same with Gus Edwards. Odell Beckham hasn't done nothing, like I figured he wouldn't. Zay Flowers has done, he's been the wide receiver 20, 50, 41, and 51. Lamar Jackson is doing all the work in that offense right now. And that's how it's been for years. Honestly, it feels like,
so funny how they said, like, this offense is going to be so pass happy and everybody's going to eat. And it's still the same old damn thing. Lamar Jackson's rushing in touchdowns. The only value you can get from him is running the ball. And Mark Andrews is doing his thing. But, all right, let's move on to Pittsburgh then. So you got Kenny Pickett. He's on your bench. In Superflex, I really think you could do better in this matchup. If you have to start him, then you just going to have to throw him in there. But let's talk about George Pickens. What do you think about this matchup with George Pickens? Are you excited about it, or
no?
And Najee, Jaylen Warren.
I'm not excited about any of the picks. Honestly, cousin, I wouldn't play any Pittsburgh Steelers at this point right now.
Let's talk. Talk about it realistically. Gus Edwards or Najee Harris, if you had to.
If I had to, I'd pick Gus Edwards.
Najee, or let's say Robert Woods. Do we have to go that low to get to Najee range?
Najee.
Cortland Sutton against the Jets.
Jets has a very good defense. I'd go Najee. I think I'd go Najee.
Najee over his running back mate, Jaylen Warren.
Warren.
Drake London against Houston.
Najee.
Had to go Najee there.
They don't throw the ball, man. Atlanta doesn't throw the ball there.
So he's a flex option at best.
At best, man. And I think Warren.
God, this is dude. Najee was like a second-round pick, dude.
I know. You're mad. You're mad about it. And I kind of wanted some Najee, and I'm glad
that
he didn't fall to me. Glad it didn't fall to me because I was kind of up on that.
Najee or Dameon Pierce rest of the season?
Come on.
Dameon Pierce?
All day.
Okay, I agree with you. I just think the Houston Texans is our next matchup. So you got the Texans at the Falcons. Man, if you would have told me this shit last year, I'd be like, this is the game to skip. I don't want to watch this shit at all.
True that.
But this year, I'm still saying the same fucking thing.
It might be the game of the week, dude.
No, I'm saying the same fucking thing. I don't want to watch this goddamn game. The only thing I'm interested in is CJ Stroud and them receivers. But Falcons, dude, Desmond Ridder needs to go. And just talk to me about this game, man. Just tell me straight up how it's gonna go.
Honestly, I can't wait for it, dude. Like, this is the battle of the bastards. I mean,
Falcons did beat the Packers, though.
Falcons beat the Packers. Falcons have a great run game. They were playing in London last week. That throws you all off. And this could be a bounce back week for the Falcons. But CJ Stroud is the best rookie quarterback.
By far. Well, Anthony Richardson looks pretty good.
He does. But I think CJ Stroud is going to be, man, it's sorry. I think Stroud is going to have a longer
He's gonna be great.
history. Yeah, I think he's going to be great. And but he looks like the best rookie quarterback to me so far. And this Texans offense is starting to get things going. Their defense really has never been bad. I feel like they're always middle of the road, whereas the Falcons defense is always terrible. And I think Houston's going to pull this one out. You know, I'm even going to give a score. 21-24. I think Houston wins by a field goal.
All right. I mean, I like that too. But the only thing I don't like about that is I got Fairbairn. I need more than one field goal.
I got Fairbairn too.
Yeah, I need more than one field goal.
I'm not
but
saying he's only going to get one. I'm just saying they're going to win by 3.
I did see something on PFF as the highest graded receivers versus single coverage, and the top 2 were Brandon Ayuk. Well, no, it was Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
Nico Collins has just been going off. He's been absolutely nuclear this year. Everybody's been on the Puka Nacua train and all this shit, but these Houston's receivers with C.J. Stroud under helm, it's been looking good. And Atlanta's pass defense isn't great, but I expect a big game out of Nico or Tank Dell, one of the two. I would probably put both of them in your lineup if you had them. Above some of the other guys we talked about. Like, shit, I would probably start Tank Dell and Nico over Najee Harris. And the Falcons, on that side of the ball, you know they're not going to throw it much. Trade Kyle Pitts to your opponent and let him start them against you so that you can win. And Bijan's going to go the fuck off.
Like always.
Against his Houston defense. Really think Bijan has a good game.
I think Bijan's floor is 10 points.
Yeah, Bijan's floor is like 10 points. He's going to get like at least 20 yards receiving, if not 30. And he's most likely going to score a touchdown and about 80 rushing yards or more. He could have a massive game, and that's the way that Atlanta, wins this game.
Yeah. But it could be really close, and they could. I'm not going to say score a bunch of touchdowns, but both defenses aren't really great, and it could be a shootout. Well, no, it ain't going to be a shootout because Atlanta can't throw the ball. But
over under at 41.5.
Yeah.
Pretty average over
like,
and
like I
under.
was kind of saying 21-24 or something like that. Yeah.
So you got the over.
I'm taking, yeah, I'll take the over.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I have to think about that. Let's move on to the next one. You got the Derrick Henry Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Titans.
I like the Titans in this game too. I think they're starting to get a little shit rolling. Derrick Henry is getting back to his old ways, doing his thing. And you got the stats for Derrick Henry from last week. He looked really good, but DeAndre Hopkins has been a major disappointment, in my opinion, which, I mean, I had him ranked like wide receiver 30-something. If y'all had just listened to the damn episodes
Come on,
early
guys.
in the year, you would know not to draft DeAndre Hopkins. But what did Derrick Henry do last week?
He was the the running back 6 with 22 attempts, 122 yards, a touchdown, and 5.55 yards per carry. I mean, Henry is somebody.
But the snap percentage is still 59%. That's weird. It's just weird to me.
And I think it's because they play from behind so much. They do 3 wide receiver sets. Not Tajee.
Well, they were beating the hell out of Cincinnati last week. They were ahead in that game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, you got a point. And let me look at.
I mean, Tajay Spears has been getting a lot more work than people were expecting. So, I mean, but we'll not say on Derrick Henry too much. He's in your lineup. DeAndre Hopkins, I guess you're going to play him. I mean, in the flex spot, he's not the worst option for your Titans. But I wouldn't feel super confident in DeAndre Hopkins at this point. And as far as the Colts go, Michael Pittman, he's going to be in there. Joshua Dobbs, he's a desperation flex. Yeah, the Titans beat the shit out of Cincinnati.
Did the Colts win last week?
Yeah. Colts won too.
And this is the division game. It can go either way, dude. But my money's on the Titans. But Rich, I love watching that boy play. I mean, he did a jump pass. A jump pass. Go back and watch the highlights from last week. That went for like 20 yards. He jumped in the air
while getting sacked.
While getting sacked. Yeah, I think Aaron Donald had him wrapped up.
Yeah.
He's a great player. And he came out of the womb a grown man. I mean, his little brother talks like a 50-year-old. Hey, man, my boy. Yeah, deep voice, but Rich is going to be fun, man. They put him on Cool Plays, bro, on Good Morning Football. Shout out to Peter Schrags. And
got to get me one of the Manga Run shirts.
Dude, we're definitely going to get one. I'm waiting for somebody who I really love to win it. And
well, McCaffrey's already won it. You don't want McCaffrey?
I kind of want McCaffrey, but
he's just too big, man. He's like too high profile, man.
Too much hype, dude. I want.
Which he should be.
Yeah, I want Blasting Game to win it, and I'll get the dang Blasting Game jersey.
You don't care about resale value at all, then.
No, I just want Blasting Game to bust them up.
Oh shit! All right. We're done with this matchup. On to the Saints and the Pats. What a shit game this is going to be. You got the I don't even know how to say it. Chris Olave, Derek Carr, and whatever running back you want to throw in there, Alvin Kamara. He had like 13 damn targets last week. It was something crazy. But Alvin Kamara looks like he's definitely a start. You're putting him in your lineup. No other running backs for the Saints. You got Chris Olave in your lineup. Michael Thomas is a good flex play in this one. Even though the Patriots are hell of a team, hell of a defense, but I mean, what do you think about this one? The Saints Patriots. I'm kind of.
It's going to be a pretty good game.
I'm avoiding it though, fantasy wise.
Fantasy wise, you want to start Alvin. You know, I don't think you start Stevenson.
I mean, you've got to start. What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
You got to start Stevenson, right? You got to start Ramondre Stevenson.
You got to start him, but if you got somebody else, I might wouldn't.
He gonna have a great week, but this is just one of them players that I hate to say that you drafted early and you got to do it, but you're not gonna find much better options than Ramondre Stevenson out there.
You think Olave's gonna have a bounce back week, man? What happened last week?
I don't know. It was just a bad week.
At Tampa Bay? You think it was that Tampa Bay D?
Nah, I just think it was the Saints. I think Derek Carr wasn't quite fully healthy, so
yeah, I think
that's what you get. How many targets he have? 4?
He had 6 targets and 1 catch for 4 yards.
But look at all the rest of the shit. I mean, his
yards per catch are 14.
Look at the targets, 10, 11, 11.
Yeah. He's definitely solid, and you definitely can't bench. You can't not start him at all. But Ramondre Stevenson, I say bench him this week. I think you can start it for the rest of the year, but
I mean, what are you saying bench him for, though? I mean, when you're talking about benching somebody, you're talking about.
I mean, what has Ramondre Stevenson done this year, dude?
I mean, he's been all right. He's been better than fucking. Who you gonna start this week? Gus Edwards?
I'd definitely start Pacheco over him.
Well, no shit. Ain't everybody playing in 8-man leagues there.
I mean, the last 2 weeks, he's only scored 6.7 and 5 points. His attempts are going down.
Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Dallas and the Jets. But this is another hard defense, man. And Mac Jones isn't doing the thing.
Who you going to start over Ramondre? I feel like Ramondre is probably about 100% started at this point. But, I mean, shit, just go to your bench. Go to your bench in Yahoo or Average Joe's and tell me who you would rather start over Ramondre Stevenson, just to give a real perspective on if there's any players out there that is even available. Would you start Matt Breida over him?
Yeah, probably. I might would. No, not Matt Breida. I wouldn't start Matt Breida, but I would.
You leave your studs in your lineup, man.
I mean, I got a lot of good players, and
I mean, we're looking at your team right
McLaughlin.
now.
I'd start McLaughlin over him.
I think Javonte Williams is going to play.
Do you think so?
He's already back at practice.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
So you ain't starting McLaughlin over him.
No, it doesn't seem as so.
So give me somebody that's on your bench. I'll tell you my bench. I mean, in Yahoo, I got like Tank Dell. I got Godwin, who's on a bye. There's some bye
Brees Hall.
weeks this week. Brees Hall, obviously, yeah, he's in your lineup. He ain't on your bench.
I don't know.
All right, start Ramondre. He ain't gonna have the best week, but you're not gonna find anything better.
Yeah, if you got him, you probably picked him early, and you need to go with him. But
And
I feel like he's the only player on that team that you can start, right? Bourne.
yeah, I'm off the Patriots.
No, I think Mac Jones is at the bottom of the waiver wire.
Yeah, Mac Jones' ass, and New Orleans defense is stout as fuck. That's a good defensive start this week if you want to start a defense.
Yeah, and that's what I think they're going to be playing from behind, and Ramondre is going to get you 7 points.
Definitely should have started him over Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, definitely should have done that. Yep, Washington got me -1. That's what's up. Still gonna win this week. Don't get fucked. All right, next matchup. Got the Eagles at the Rams. The Eagles are only favored by 4. I think I finally found a game that I feel comfortable betting on.
Yeah.
And I'll take the Eagles to win by over 4.
It's at the Rams?
Shit, I'm just taking the second team, and I'm saying that's at the Rams on this website. So, yeah, it looks like they're at the Rams.
Yeah, I think it's in LA. I think the Eagles go in there and get a win, man. The Eagles, are kind of flying under the radar in the NFC right now with the Niners doing their thing and all the hype around Dallas, like always, and Detroit, and
Ain't you sick of that shit? All the Dallas hype.
I'm not necessarily sick of it, but because a lot of times they have a reason to be in the hype. They
got a playoff contending team that just doesn't make it after the playoffs.
They got a good line. They got Michael Parsons. They got,
not Trayvon Diggs.
No Trayvon Diggs, but that defense is still running around, blowing stuff up. But I think Dak Prescott is their only downfall, and it shows in CeeDee Lamb, like we were saying, when it comes to great wide receivers.
CD is one of them.
The only thing that's going to make them great is if they have a quarterback that can get them the ball.
When it comes playoff time, yep, and they're always just good enough. But we're on this game. We'll talk about them damn Cowboys. Unfortunately, well, actually, not unfortunately, because they got the Sunday night game later, and it's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited as hell about this one. All right, so you got the Eagles at Rams. How's this game going to go? I feel like the Eagles are going to run the ball pretty effectively. DeAndre Swift is going to do his thing. And, you got Aaron Donald there, but I'm not shying away from DeAndre Swift. I'm not shying away from Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. The Eagles are I swear they're the best fantasy team imaginable because you got 4 players. You got Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
And then you just clock out. And, in Dallas Goedert. You start Dallas Goedert, even though he ain't been great.
Yeah. Do you start Dallas Goedert?
Do
you start him over Laporta?
No, I don't start him over Laporta.
Do you start him over?
But we're talking about like in a 12-team league. I think he's the top 12.
He's still good. I get what you're saying. Yeah, they got a great team, and they got a great defense. It's always going to keep them in game.
If you drafted Dallas Goedert, you're not looking at the waiver wire starting like Zach Ertz or whoever the hell is out there on the Hayden Hurst. Like you're not going out there. You're just going to start Goddard.
Yeah, you're not panicking. But yeah, they definitely have a good team, and Jalen Hurts is locked in.
And A.J. Brown has been going the hell off after he complained on the sideline. So
yeah, he finally started getting them targets, dude.
Now you pissing again, bro?
No.
God dang. All right, we got the Rams. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, probably not playing him this week, especially in a 1 QB. And then, Puka's in your lineup. this is a very good opportunity to see how he's going to do with Cooper Cup.
So do you start him?
Do I start Puka or Cooper
Yeah.
Cup?
You both. I mean, you got to start Cup.
I'm starting all of them. I'm starting Cooper Cup. I'm starting Puka, and I'm starting Tutu.
You got to start Puka. Yeah, I mean, they're all.
And I'm starting Higbee. I'm starting all of them.
Yeah.
The over/under on this game is 50.5, which is very high.
This week is gonna tell you, who's gonna be who in that offense, and
But how do you bench Tutu or Puka after what they've been doing?
You really can't. I mean, if I benched any one of them, I'd probably bench Tutu.
Yeah, but I would still start them.
Yeah,
in a play spot.
Yeah, I mean, I'd start him over
Najee.
I'd start Tutu over Najee. Yep.
You start Tutu over London.
Yep.
Let's see. What about Jared Judy?
Who are they playing?
I'm not sure. Let me see. They're playing the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd start him over Jared Judy. Yeah.
Probably playing both of them though, right? You gonna play Judy this week?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you got Judy, you got to play him. But if you can bench him, I would. I mean, until that gets figured out, it's tough.
I'd imagine that Sauce is probably going to be on Cortland Sutton. So,
well, the thing is, Sauce, they don't really.
He stays on one side of the field.
He stays on one side of the field. They don't really put him on.
And he be getting pissed about that shit too.
Does he?
Hell yeah!
You don't like that?
I forget what game it was, but I think they were playing like the Bills, maybe, and they were talking about Diggs or something, and he was just like, I might be totally wrong, but it was one of the previous games. He was like, why am I not following this guy around? All right, so the Rams, you're good, starting all their weapons. Kyron probably isn't going to have the best game against the Eagles' rush defense, but you got to play him. And, you're starting Higbee and all them other guys, all them receivers, you're good. The Bengals and the Cardinals next game, 4:00 game. Cardinals have been a pleasant surprise this year. I really thought they were going to be the worst team in the NFL by a long shot, but it looks like that belongs to the Panthers. So, what do you think about this game? The Bengals are only favored by 3. If you would have told me at the start of the year that the Bengals are playing the Cardinals and the Bengals are only favored by 3 points, I'd say you're fucking crazy. But this is where we're at. I benched Joe Burrow for Sam Howell.
You got to. At this point, Burrow's playing injured. DeMar Chase is pissed. Mixon is almost.
He's okay.
He's been solid. Like you're not mad about that. You're not mad about Chase, but you're upset about Burrow.
You're upset about Chase
and
being like the number 2 overall pick in fantasy.
Yeah, that is true. Where you had to go get him, he's definitely not put up the numbers. But I almost.
Did the Bengals ever? Do they figure it out? Or is this injury just going to linger all year, and we're just going to be frustrated? I mean,
it's hard to say, man, because it's an ankle thing, dude, and
that's a calf injury.
Okay, lower any lower body injuries are. It's hard to say, man, especially when you're that quarterback, and he got paid this year, and I don't feel like he has a real reason to go out there and try to.
This is Joe Burrow we're talking about.
And Joe Cool is going to be awesome. And I think once he gets over this injury, they're going to be fine. But right now, I would take the Cardinals over the Bengals.
You going to take the Cardinals to win this game?
I would take the Cardinals to win this game.
Holy shit. Sounds crazy as hell, but.
It does sound crazy. Dobbs is on it. I mean, Michael Wilson's coming up. Hollywood's looking good.
I think the Bengals bounce back this weekend. I think it's time.
This could be the bounce back week.
I think it's time. I think the Bengals get back right. You can expect Jamar Chase to go off. I don't know the recent news on T. Higgins, if he's going to be expected to play. I think he said he just broke one rib, so That's
Oh, it's
football.
just
that's
one
just
rib.
that's football for you, man. I just broke one rib.
It's only one rib.
I should be out there to get it when like Kadarius Toney like stubs his toe walking out the door. Can't do it, but I mean, I'm good with this matchup if you are. Marquise Brown, I guess I got to mention him for the Cardinals. He's been a very pleasant surprise, being how bad we thought the Cardinals were going to be. But Marquise Brown has been doing great. He's scored over double-digit points in 3 straight weeks for your fantasy teams. And Marquise Brown is a definite option. James Conner, he just does what he does, man. He's absolutely he's just underrated as hell, man.
He's kind of been flying under the radar.
He always does, and he's so damn good.
And he's one of those players kind of like Austin Eckler was, that played behind good running backs, you know what I mean? And they just needed their shot. And he finally has got his shot. He's finally the man. And
she's been the man for years, man.
And he's been
just on a shitty team.
Right. He's been doing pretty good, just enough to where you have to start him every week. But
I think he's an RB2 every week.
This year, for sure.
No, last year, this year.
Last year,
every year, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, once he got to the Cardinals, he finally found.
He was good with the Steelers, man.
He was all right with the Steelers. He wasn't.
He was great.
He wasn't good.
He was great. He's been great. He's been great all the time.
No, he hasn't.
James Conner is better than fucking.
James Conner has finally done what we thought he could do.
Who's Christian McCaffrey, bro? James Conner.
What does that even mean?
I'm just saying Christian McCaffrey models his game after James Conner. That's what I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Christian McCaffrey watches tape of James Conner and says, how do I improve my game? I need to be more like him.
I think the only player that's ever played in the NFL that's better than Christian McCaffrey is Barry Sanders. No, I'll take it back. Emmitt Smith.
No, Emmitt Smith is terrible.
Barry Sanders.
Emmitt Smith played just way too long. And he got all the records because he played like 18 years. Barry Sanders would have killed all them records. But, all right. We didn't talk much about that game. I guess we need to revisit it a little bit since we touched on it so terribly.
Which one?
The Bengals side of it.
We just talked about it.
We need to talk about Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Joe Burrow. Are you starting him?
Nope.
Or are you looking at the waiver wire? Look at our waiver wire in Yahoo. And tell me who you're going to start over Joe Burrow this week. Because when you're in a redraft league, will you start Matthew Stafford against Philly? Would you start Russell Wilson against the Jets? Would you start Daniel Jones against Miami? I think I'm just going to have to roll with Joe Burrow.
I mean, the only one I would probably start over is Matthew Stafford.
He ain't done shit neither.
Well, I mean,
yeah, he ain't done shit neither.
He really hadn't. You know, if you got him, I mean, if you got Kirk Cousins on your bench, I'd start Cousins.
Why would Kirk Cousins be on your bench? He's a number one quarterback.
Bench. I got him on one of my benches.
Oh, he's the number one quarterback in fantasy after like the first 3 or 4 weeks.
I started Justin Fields over him this week, and that's probably going to pay off.
But I guess if you got Kirk Cousins on your bench, obviously, start Kirk Cousins. Well, he does play Kansas City, though. I don't know.
I'd start him over Burrow.
Nah, fuck it, dude. It's Burrow's comeback, baby. Start Burrow this week. If you have a terrible week, blame it on me. Joe Burrow is going to get you at least 20 fantasy points. He's going to throw at least 2 touchdowns, both of them to Jamar Chase. And no. Jamar Chase is always fucking open, dude.
He's always fucking open, excuse my profanity.
Blame that on Jamar Chase. We're just quoting. We're quoting Jamar Chase.
Heard it on the TV.
He's always fucking open. All right, we got the I found me another cruise lock of the week. The Chiefs at the Vikings. The Chiefs are only. Do you feel like that's weird? The Chiefs are only favored by 3.5. Now,
beginning of the year, I would have thought that was weird. But
what do you mean? The Chiefs are what 1-3 right now? I mean, not the.
3
I
and
mean,
1.
the Vikings are 1-3.
Right. And the Chiefs are 3-1, but
The
the
Chiefs.
Chiefs have barely been pulling it out, which
They beat the.
still
They beat
makes
the Bears by like 50 points.
the Bears, but they only beat the Jets by like 3.
That's true.
And I feel like if they had one good receiver, they would be prolific. But I'm definitely taking the Chiefs over Minnesota. Don't get me wrong. I think
You're
it's gonna be
taking you're taking that spread too, ain't you? 3.5.
yeah,
I think that's the lock of the week.
yeah, yeah. They're definitely gonna win by more than 3.
3.5.
They're definitely gonna win by more than 4.
All right. I think they're gonna win by more than 4, and I expect.
I think Chris Jones gets 3 sacks.
Chris Jones probably does eat. I expect Pacheco to eat this game. Oh, I gotta figure out a nickname for Pacheco because he's just been when you see them hand him the ball, it's like totally different than any other running back. Like he's just like
Biscuit.
like it.
He
He
is.
just runs so damn hard. It's ridiculous. He's like, I don't care if there's a wall in front of me. I don't care if there's anything in front of me. I'm running through it. And that's the way he runs.
He's not the biggest guy.
No, he's
not
not.
the fastest, but he's got the passion, man. It's
He
passion
really
Pacheco,
does.
dude, and he gets to it, dude. He gets down, and there was some good running backs in that backfield that he won the job over,
3.5.
And when you watch Pacheco, he let him, he did what he did last week throughout the playoffs last year. He really helped them win that Super Bowl. And I think Pacheco is somebody on your team that you really want to hold on to. And I mean, obviously, after last week, he did great. And he might be a sell high candidate in redraft leagues, but when it comes down to dynasty, if you got him in dynasty, I feel like you need to start him.
Well, he had his they did play the Jets last week, which was actually a very close game.
And that's
Like
a really
Jim
good
pointed out.
defense.
Yes, really good defense. But he had 20 carries for 115 yards, played 60% of the snaps, which is, when we were doing our preseason rankings, I had Pacheco ranked outside of my top 24.
Oh, I know.
Like, I despised him. But the last 2 weeks, he finished at RB11, RB7. And I like Pacheco. Don't get me wrong. I was just thinking that maybe Clyde had a bigger role. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Who?
Clyde Pacheco. I mean, Clyde Pacheco.
You talking about the guy that lost his job to a rookie?
To a 7th round rookie.
A 7th round rookie?
Yeah. The guy who got 20 carries in a close game. But Pacheco's the guy, man. He's
the dinner rollback on a winning team, and they're going to be in games where they're ahead, and he seems like he can handle bell cow work. I mean, 15 carries week 3, 20 carries week 4.
That's good numbers.
Elite yards per carry. I mean, he's got 5.8, 4.3, 5.7. He only had 2.8 in the first week, but
against Detroit, who we talked about earlier.
One of my Super Bowl favorites right now, Detroit.
And fuck you, dude.
I hate to say that, man. I hate to say that, but
the Super Bowl ain't going through the North unless it's the green and gold.
The green and gold.
All right, but the main thing we're talking about here with this Chiefs and Vikings, dude, is a 3.5 spread for the Chiefs, and I think that's absurd. I haven't got all the texts from the crew about the lock of the week, but since they're not here tonight, I'm gonna just call it myself. We're gonna call the Kansas City Chiefs at 3.5 to win over the Vikings. The Vikings' offense is pretty good, but the Vikings' defense is absolutely atrocious. They cannot stop anybody. That's why the over and under is at 53, which I would take the under because I don't think the Vikings will score that much on the Chiefs because the Chiefs' defense is very, very good. I think this game ends up at about, let's say, 31 Chiefs to 17.
Yeah.
31 to 17. I don't think the Vikings are going to be able to move the ball
I think
that well against the
I
Chiefs.
think Jefferson gets a touchdown. Hopefully, Madison gets a touchdown.
Yeah, hopefully Madison. Let's talk about the Vikings though. Jefferson, Madison, Ian, I'm gonna let you take this shit over for a minute while I pee because you done pissed 4 times and I ain't gone yet.
Hey, don't pick on me because I got a child's bladder, man. But let's talk about Madison, man. And when it comes to Madison, he's been hit or miss. He's been a little bit sketchy this year, but I still think he's a solid start. You really can't bench him. You probably didn't spend a lot of draft capital on him in your draft, and they haven't been doing great. I think if their offense was doing better, he would be better, but he still is a solid start. You were a little worried with the fumbles early on in the year, but he has, I mean, the last 2 weeks, he scored 25 points. You know, he scored only 4 in week 2, but he's gotten double digits every other week. And I think he's a solid start. It's a tough matchup, but I wouldn't. It's hard to start somebody over him. When it comes to the other players on Minnesota's offense, the Jefferson is obviously a good start. You can't bench Jefferson ever. The rookie, I think he's fine, and this could be a bounce back. I mean, they're going to be throwing the ball all over the field. I think they're going to be playing from behind. Hopefully, Madison gets a goal line score in garbage time, but it's going to be It's going to be tough. I think the Chiefs are going to win it, and Minnesota's got some figuring out to do. Purple People Eaters are long gone. That defense is not what it used to be, and they got some figuring out to do, man. And they're definitely not the best team in the North by far.
Hell no, they ain't the best team in the North. The fucking Chicago Bears are better than their ass. Sorry I took such a long pee. Grown man bladder. But I hope Ian gave y'all the what do you call it? The down low?
Rundown.
The rundown, the down low about the Minnesota Vikings. I think I picked a good team for him to just carry on about because Vikings are ass and I can't stand they ass because we Packers fans in here.
Screw 'em, Scoldies.
Very true. Don't know what you said, but very true.
Try not to say something.
Provocative.
Scoldies nuts, okay? Fuck you, Vikings. Get off my lawn.
What did Anchorman say? I don't know what was it. I don't know what he said, but it was provocative.
Oh, that was that was Blades of Glory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was like, we're gonna skate to one song and one song only. My Humps by Lady Gaga or Fergie. He was like, that song is gross. No, it's not. I messed it up.
Okay.
It's provocative.
It's provocative.
That's all we care about.
That's all we care about.
Provocativity.
Nice word. I like that shit. All right. Fuck it. On to another game that I don't give a shit about. You got the Jets at the Broncos. This game sucks.
Breece Hall, bounce back game. Zach Wilson, the truth.
Over under 43.5, dude. That seems like an under easy, right? Well, the Broncos might give up 70, though. That's
what I was about to say. Yeah.
Fucking Broncos, dude.
Yeah. The Jets probably going to score 3-4 touchdowns.
Hey, I do want to give props to Zach Wilson last week. He outperformed Patrick Mahomes. I ain't even going to lie.
He did.
He looked good.
Just think if he had an offensive line.
You know, I kind of find myself sometimes like I just talk so much shit about players like Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, like just some of these guys But a lot of it just comes down to the offense that they're in and the offensive coordinator and everything like that. I have no idea if these guys are really good players or not. Like, I mean, there's a couple guys that obviously suck, but I'm not going back on it yet. I still think Zach Wilson is ass, but he looked good last week.
When it comes to the NFL, they're all really good players. And I think what separates the good from the great, I have two things that separate the good from the great. Number one is your mental. Whether or not you can overcome
Fucking booze from your fan base.
That's the different. You first have to overcome 4 300-pound defensive linemen coming at you every play.
But they did that in college.
You got 4 seconds, but these are the best of the best of the best coming at you on a regular basis. You're getting booed from your fan base, and
let's talk about that right quick. I know you want to get into it. I was thinking about that a little bit. Hey, you got a quarterback that's struggling. He ain't playing real well. What does it help that quarterback that you're fucking talking mad shit every time he comes to the sidelines from the fans, telling him he's the worst quarterback ever and everything like that? Like, one thing you want out of your quarterback is confidence. And then after you build that confidence in the guy, boo all you want, but give the man a break. Like, I mean, like Philadelphia, New York, the Eastern states. Not saying nothing bad, but like give the man a break, let him play, give him some time. Like it's not going to help him at all, killing his confidence.
Okay, so let me say this.
Even though you suck, Zach Wilson. Okay, but I don't care. I'm not a Jets fan.
We've been saying it at this point. Zach Wilson sucks. He's had a couple good games, but a fan base can make or break a team. And New York, the Jets and the Giants, people from New York are assholes, bro. Like,
don't be saying that shit, man.
People from New York are assholes, man. I've been to New York. Listen and learn what I'm saying. I've been to New York multiple times. Y'all are dicks, dude. And it shows. That's why your teams suck. They suck year in and year out because y'all are assholes. You know what I mean? Look at the Cleveland Browns, bro. If you've been a Cleveland Browns fan, if you've stayed loyal to the Cleveland Browns for 10 years, you are destined to go to heaven. You have a spot. They got it checked off. Like Susie Q, she's been a Cleveland. Bam, you're in. You got the upper. But what I'm trying to say is, a fan base can really make or break a team, man. And
it's a wonder why they suck for so damn long.
That's where quarterbacks go to die. I mean, Aaron Rodgers went there. He didn't even play 5 snaps and he died, But they have a great coach and a championship caliber defense. And all Zach Wilson has to do is get the ball into the playmaker's hands. Take a note
Who's
from
the playmakers, though? I feel like
Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson.
That's it. End of the list.
Allen Lazard's not terrible. Cobb is there.
Yeah, okay. Allen Lazard and Cobb.
Give it to Breece and give it to Wilson.
It's not.
How many more playmakers do you need?
I mean, look at the Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill and
Jalen Waddle
has done what?
Tua, good quarterback. I'm just saying, like most teams have more than 2 playmakers.
Which teams have more than 2 playmakers?
Shit, a lot of them.
Bills, not more than 2. Even Miami, that's like one of the best teams. You usually have about 2, and if you're lucky, 3 great playmakers. You get the ball into your hands of your playmakers, and that's all you got to do. Take a note from the Commanders.
I'm taking the quarterback as a playmaker too, so I guess you do got me on that. If you cancel out the quarterback, like most teams do, really only have 2 or less, like one good receiver or a good running back, or you might have both. But look at the 49ers.
They have multiple. They have about 4.
8.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy gets the ball to them. You know what I mean? Like Brock. All right, We're going to talk about the 49ers
This
next.
is my problem, though.
We're going to talk about the 49ers.
That's my problem, though, with the Jets.
Next.
Like, I heard something on, I don't know what, it was on SportsCenter, of course, because SportsCenter's ass. They said that there's no better situation for Zach Wilson to be in right now. And I'm like, bullshit. He could be with the 49ers right now.
Yeah.
Like, if that, well, you
he
put
could
Zach,
have an offensive line.
You put Zach Wilson with the 49ers and an offensive line and 4 good weapons and also a good defense. Like, there's many better situations. Right. And an offensive coach. Like, you got Nathaniel Hackett. You got Nathaniel Hackett coaching this offense right now, who they brought in basically because he has history with Aaron Rodgers.
And that was the perfect move.
It was the perfect move when Aaron Rodgers was the guy.
That was what the Jets needed to make it to the playoffs. I'm not going to say that's what they needed to get to the Super Bowl, but putting Aaron Rodgers at quarterback is what the Jets needed this year. Because the main thing he has that Zach Wilson doesn't is when you call 32 sweep and you line up and you see a defense that's not admirable to that play. When Aaron Rodgers
call an audible.
When Aaron Rodgers calls an audible, he can say, Garrett Wilson, you go this, you do this, you do this. Zach Wilson's like, okay, we're going to switch to hot streaks. You know what I mean? Or whatever. You know what I mean? He's not giving people hot routes and this, that, and the other. And that's the difference you get in that veteran quarterback. And I feel like that's what the Jets need because they don't have that offensive line. And they don't have a few key things, but they don't have them. And they have Zach Wilson. So I feel like he's doing better than he was. And this might be what pushes him to the top or over the edge. And we're going to find out.
Yeah. I mean, they got the Broncos this week. The Broncos are favored by 2.5. I ain't fucking buying that shit. I think the Jets are going to kick their ass. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Jets we just went over their hard-ass schedule. They've been playing some very, very tough teams. And I like this bet, too.
Do you like that for the lock of the week over the Chiefs Vikings?
I like the Chiefs a little better at 3.5, but I do like this a lot. This will probably be like second on my list at the Jets at plus 2.5. I just bet the money line on this plus 114.
If the
bet 100.
If the Jets had Daniel Jones, would you lock it?
I mean, it's close to a lock now. Really, even with
I'm saying, would Danny?
I mean, yeah. If Danny Dimes was there, it would be the lock of the week.
I think so too. I think but like we were saying, like Zach Wilson,
it's gonna be fine. Jets are winning this game.
Jets are winning this game.
I don't even care if they're playing at Denver. They're winning this game.
Do you start Broncos? Is McLaughlin playing? Is Williams playing?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Like Javonte, I would try to find better options if you could. But if there's nobody out there flex worthy that you're willing to play, like if you're looking at like Miles Sanders, like we talked about earlier, or Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders against Detroit, Javonte Williams if he plays, it's really tough. Just keep up with the injury news on Javonte, and if he plays, I guess he's gonna have to be in your lineup, even though it's gonna be ugly. I'm sorry, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, dude. I hope McLaughlin plays because if not, I'm gonna have to start either Justice Hill or Tyler Boyd.
What about Javonte or Jordan Addison for Minnesota against Kansas City? Who would you start there if Javonte's ready to go? You got any news on Javonte at all?
Yeah, let me see. Javonte. So the newest news on Javonte Williams is from 5 hours ago. They said he was a full participant at practice today.
Seems like he's gonna play. If you're full on Friday, it seems like you're gonna play.
Questionable to play, but
usually when you practice on full on Friday,
I would say he's probably gonna be in a snap count.
It's gonna suck.
It says Jaleel McLaughlin should not be started in an already tough matchup against the Jets, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't really want to start anybody against the Jets right now. They have a very good defense. And if you have either one of the running backs, you probably don't want to start them.
Yeah. Pretty tough decision. I mean, Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy or whatever, but we're gonna probably cut this episode. We're gonna get these last two matchups in, then we're gonna hit y'all with another one here in a minute. We're gonna talk about the gambling side of things, which is always fun, and we're gonna talk some start sits because that's where you win your games. That's when you win your matchups. I lost last week because I made the wrong start sit decision. I started Tank Dell over Khalil Herbert, and I lost.
I started Aaron Jones over Brian Robinson.
Yep, man. These things are very important. So this next episode, if y'all don't give a fuck about this one, which we spent our hard-earned money and time and just had such a great time drinking and carrying on about. And
daggum, we sat here for an hour talking. That's worth
an hour and a half. This episode is going to be going into the daylight, and I think the sun's about to come up. But let's get on to this next one. You got the Cowboys. This is going to be a good ass game, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this game.
No matter what.
Cowboys at the Niners. Niners are favored by 3.5. Over under 45. Me personally, I like all the offensive options in this game because I think this is going to be one of them games where the offenses kind of take over a little bit. I'm not worried about the 49ers guys. I'm not worried about McCaffrey, obviously. Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, they're all in my lineup on the Cowboys side. You got Dak. I wouldn't be extremely scared to start him. If you have just some crazy good other option, all right, would you start Dak or Joe Burrow against Cardinals?
Burrow.
Okay, so it's about at that level. I agree. I'd probably start Burrow.
Probably would, because I disagree with what you were saying.
Well, what do you? How do you think this game's going to go? I think it's going to be more higher scoring.
I think it's going to be lower scoring. I think it's going to be defensive because from the first 4 weeks, we've learned that Dallas defense, it depends on which Dallas team shows up, man. And that seems like every year you say that. Every week, you're like, if Dallas shows up, they're going to win. But if not, they won't. And I feel like this year is a little more towards.
But they really hadn't had one of them games. Like San Francisco hadn't had one of them games that's been ultra competitive where I think I hadn't seen anybody slow down the San Francisco offense yet.
No, they're out there doing whatever they want, whenever they want to.
Is Dallas a team that slows them down, or are they just going to keep rolling?
If any team can slow them down, this is the biggest out of division rivalry in the NFL. These two teams have been neck and neck.
They're like Super Bowl contenders right now.
These two teams have been neck and neck. In the 90s, it wasn't who's going to play in the Super Bowl, is who's going to win the NFC Championship between the Niners and the Cowboys. So they had that history, and so it could really go either way because of that. But I favor the Niners in this one because their offensive weapons are better. I think Purdy's better than Prescott. I think Purdy will win a Super Bowl before Prescott will. And I think they have a better running back. I think they have better receivers.
I do think San Francisco wins this game.
Dallas has a better defense. And that's hard to say because you got Bosa and Warner over there. But Michael Parsons is nasty and
I think the 49ers are going to be able to move the ball, truthfully. I think me personally, I think both of these teams are going to be able to move the ball.
You know why they're going to be able to move the ball? You know why both teams are going to be able to move the ball?
Because it's going to be a competitive game. I think.
Because they have great offensive lines.
Yeah, they do have good offensive lines.
Yeah, Trent Williams.
The over-under is 45. It's not super low. It's not like you're sitting at 38 like the Ravens and
But I think
Steelers.
early on, there might be a couple punts. Once the
Yeah.
defenses get tired out, it's going to be it's going to be a chess match. Whichever coach calls the right plays at the right time. They both teams have good playmakers, but I'm taking the 49ers.
I'm taking the 49ers too. They're favored by 3.5. Are you taking the 49ers by 3.5? Are you staying away from this game betting wise altogether? Or would you take the Cowboys to at least cover that?
I wouldn't bet on this game. I wouldn't, like I said, because when it comes to those rivalries, it could go either way at any point. Just like the Pittsburgh Baltimore game this week. That game is going to be smash mouth, cutthroat, and either team could win it. Pittsburgh could come out and blow them out. And that's kind of the same thing we're looking at with this. But I feel like the 49ers definitely have the advantage. They're playing off a win, and Dallas is looking good right now. But it just depends on which Dallas team shows up, man. And I want so bad for Dak Prescott to be elite, but he's not.
All right, we're on to the last game of the week, which is weird. I hope I'm looking at the right shit because it seems odd to me, even though I'm a Packers fan. You got the Packers at the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 2.5 going into this game. Jimmy Garoppolo's in concussion.
Wait. What'd you say?
The Raiders are favored by 2.5.
Not even being a Packers fan, just watching football. Okay, last week, Detroit beat on us. All right, I get it.
But I've been keeping up with our injury reports, too. It looks like Aaron Jones is good to go. Christian Watson's good to go. Jair Alexander is good to go. Elton Jenkins, our offensive lineman, is good to go. Bakhtiari's on IR. Fuck him.
He's gone.
Yeah, man. Fuck Bakhtiari, dude. And
he's so
it seems like we are fully healthy going into this game. I'm not trying to be a Packers homer. Let's just talk about this objectively. But I think I'm calling it now.
Raiders are fucked.
This is one of the Aaron Jones big weeks. Aaron Jones is about to go the fuck off on the Raiders. I do think Josh Jacobs has a good game for the Raiders, but I would, on the Packers side, I know we got a lot of questions about their receiving core. With Christian Watson coming back, me personally, I would start Romeo Doubs. I would start Christian Watson. Luke Musgrave, maybe you can find better. If you're looking at like a Tyler Higbee, something like that, I might start Higbee over him. But he's not the worst tight end play. But on the Raiders side, they're pretty easy to figure out too. You got Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers, and Devontae Adams, and check out. That's it for me.
Yeah,
I'm good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think Watson's going to eat. Like you said, I mean, Aaron Jones is going to be back in there. He's had a really long week to recover. A.J. Dillon is irrelevant. Dobbs is going to do good. And my boy, Jordan, the man Love, is...
Would you start Jordan Love over Dak Prescott against the Niners? Would you start Jordan Love over, let's see here, let's go ahead and figure this shit out. Would you start Jordan Love over Trevor Lawrence against Buffalo?
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud against Atlanta?
I don't know. I'd probably go with Stroud, man. Stroud's got the hot hand.
Brock Purdy against Dallas?
Yeah, I'd start Love over Purdy. I'm binging Purdy this week.
Daniel Jones against Miami?
I'd start Love over Jones.
Jared Goff against Carolina?
Probably not. No, I'd run Goff. They might be running the ball later, but I think Goff's going to get one or two.
Okay. Well, I think that's about all the questions we got about that one. But
yeah, what do you think Devontae is going to do, man? That's one of the things I'm looking forward to this week. That's my matchup of the week is Devontae Adams versus Jair. The shit talking Alexander. That boy will get in there and he knows he's the best in the league. And he knows he's got the most swag, the prettiest eyes, the coolest hair. And he doesn't let anybody get any yards.
Oh, dude, I hate to say it. Devontae's going to do just fine.
Jair versus Devontae, dude.
Dude,
Same team.
Jair shut down Jefferson last year, but this is, man, Devontae Adams is so fucking
But they
good,
know
dude.
each other. They know each other's shit. They played against each other in practice all the time.
All I'm saying is,
I'm looking forward to that match.
all I'm saying is the Packers
I think Jair gets a pick.
at plus 2.5. That just seems like
Bullshit.
too easy to me, right? Packers should win this
Take the
game,
Packers.
right?
I'll take the Packers.
And we're Packers fans, but I mean, shit. Vegas knows more than we do, I guess, but
Nah. I'll take the Packers, man.
they're just a better overall team.
They are.
Better
And
offensive
I
line,
know
better
we're
defensive
young,
line, better defense.
And we're technically in a rebuild, dude.
We ain't in a rebuild.
Rework. Whatever.
Reworking.
And somebody was trying to give me hell about getting beat by Detroit, and I'm like, congratulations. Or getting beat by Atlanta.
Yep.
Congratulations. You beat us in a rebuild.
Of course, that's the way they always do. But all right, well, we're about to get off of here, man. We had a great time tonight. I hope everybody enjoys the episode. Sorry for the couple piss breaks we had. Like I said, we had to share one mic tonight, and it's great. Got my cousin in the building. We probably done taken we've been drinking a little too much, but it's okay because we're having a badass time, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. I'm sorry that your boy Matt wasn't here. He's the best. I ain't even gonna lie. He's the best host you could get, and all the guys from the crew miss him tonight. I was hoping they would get on, but Ian, keep it short, damn it. We were making fun of you last night for how I asked you, do you got anything else to say? And you just go on for 10 minutes. You got anything else to say to the people?
Matt, I'm sad you're not here.